Hello, what I'm going to do right now is walk you through the different steps and directions for the U.S. Supreme Court precedent case project. Simply put, this project is going to require you to do a couple things. Your teacher, first of all, is going to assign a famous Supreme Court case to you. You are going to take that famous Supreme Court case and you're going to become an expert in it. An expert in a case not only knows the background of what happened before, not only what the Supreme Court's ruling was, but also why the majority opinion was written the way that it was, why the dissenting opinions were written the way that they were. Also, they understand both the long and short-term implications of their case. Simply put, from start to finish, you're going to be an expert. What you are going to be doing once you become an expert on that case is you are going to be putting together a PowerPoint presentation that can be shared with your classmates. Your knowledge base is going to then be used, and your PowerPoint presentation is going to be used to educate your other classmates. Similarly, they will be doing the same thing, as we will all be receiving different Supreme Court cases for this project. Now, when we start off, the first thing that you need to do is to be sure to research your case. Here, what we have are some useful websites that you can use to potentially begin to gain that base knowledge that you need on your case. Understand that by no means are these the only websites. The cases that we are assigning you are famous Supreme Court cases. So by simply just Googling the name of the case, doing a little bit of digging, you will have no problem finding information. However, understand that when it comes to some of the requirements, like the majority opinions and quotes regarding the majority opinion, or dissenting opinion in quotes from the dissenting opinions, you're going to have to use more specific websites like the ones listed here. But initially, for your initial research, really any website can start to give you that early background information. Now, once you become an expert on that Supreme Court case, you're going to have to start to assemble your PowerPoint presentation via Google Slides. Let's take a look at what the layout for those Google Slides are going to be. As you can see, your presentation will consist of 6 total slides. The first slide will be a title slide. The name of your case will be on that slide, the year it was argued and decided, your name, and your class period. We're also going to show you in just a little bit what the rubric looks like, which will go a little bit more in depth into some of these slides. Your second slide is going to look at what the constitutional question or the central issue of your case is. What issue is your case surrounding? What constitutional issue? What amendment? What freedom is potentially being violated? The third slide is going to be the background information of your case. What happened early on? What led up to this? What was going on? What is the story of your case? This is where you're going to give us the details of the individual or the background of your case, where it really tells the story and makes that case interesting. Next, when you get to slide 4, you're going to explain the court's decision, including the majority opinion. What we will see in later slides as we look at the rubric is you not only are going to have to tell us what the majority opinion was, but you're going to have to include exact quotes that help to summarize what the judges on the Supreme Court were thinking when they made their ruling. Slide 5 is the opposing side, the dissenting opinion. You're going to look at what the judges who were on the dissenting side, why they disagreed with the majority, and also include quotes that help to support your summary of why they were dissenting. Now, you will also see as you look there, it will say dissenting opinion, and then in parentheses it says only if applicable. If the decision was unanimous, include a concurring opinion, if applicable. Otherwise, describe society's initial reaction to the court's decision. What we mean by this are that there are some Supreme Court cases that are a majority ruling of 9-0. You may look at that and say, there's no dissenting opinion, so I don't need slide 5. In fact, if that is one of your cases where it is a 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, what you will do is because you do not have a dissenting opinion, you instead could substitute a concurring opinion. And you know what a concurring opinion is from our previous unit. If there were no concurring opinions, you could instead substitute what was society's initial reaction to the decision, as it was a unanimous, truly unanimous 9-0 ruling. So no matter what, everyone is going to have slide 5. For a great majority of you, though, you're going to be talking about the dissenting opinions on this slide. Finally, on slide 6, you are going to be describing the principle or precedent that was established. So we know a precedent is a new standard that is going to be looked to for future rulings. You're going to explain what that new precedent or principle that was established by your case. You're also going to talk about what the lasting significance and impact of the court's decision was as a result of this, what this looks like in the short term and the long term. Now, let's take a look at our rubric and the grading. As you can see, your first slide will be worth 2 points. The slides after that, from slides 2 through 6, will each be worth 4 points. Now, what we have here are some things that are going to result in deduction of points. You can read through this list, but a failure to include direct quotes from both the majority and dissenting opinions on slides 4 and 5 will result in a loss of points. Material that is not in your own words, but is rather copied directly from the internet will also result in this. This is not a time to copy and paste. You are going to have plenty of time to work on this, so we want to be sure that this is in your own words and your best work. A failure to include a visual, so be sure to have some type of an image, a chart, a picture, a graph, something that helps to fill out your slide and helps your reader to better understand the material that you're presenting. A failure to include your bibliography or sources in the notes section of each slide. Let me show you an example of this. This is an example that we made so you can see what this could look like in the end. What you will see is down in the notes section, we have these sources that were used when this slide was being made. You will do this as well. If you don't, you will lose points for that. And then an inaccuracy of information or a lack of detail or an inability to accurately and concisely summarize your information. Basically, if what you're saying is wrong, or if what you are saying is very vague and doesn't contain the detail that is required for a famous Supreme Court case of this nature. Once again, you can see here are some useful websites. Now I'm also going to put together another video where I'm going to go through an example of a famous Supreme Court case. But if you have any questions, the best thing to do is to contact your teacher directly via email. Thanks for listening.